burning boards, it was called. And his opening move was H2, H4. He was playing right next to me. So it's like, dude, you feeling okay?
He likes to experiment with chess openings.
Yes, he does.
And they're off.
They're off. And again, and there you go. This is the one we wanted to focus on. Queen's Gambit accepted with E4.
E4 and B5. And Magnus looks a little bit bored.
Like, been there, done this, bishop B7. I know.
I think this is already quite rare.
Yes. Yeah, the way they've gotten themselves into this position. Takes on B5, knight C3, bishop takes C4. Let's go. 5+2. I'm really used to the time controls of 3+2. That extra 2 minutes can give you a false sense of security. You know that
because they have
you have a lot of time.
Extra time for the opening, but it's still not a lot of time.
Right. Now, this whole system that Black is playing, at first blush, you think, you know, you really can't be doing this. You might a great deal of tempi in the sense that once I played the moves bishop g5 and knight e5, I'm fully developed and you've still got a lot of issues to deal with. Except there's really not that many targets that that White can focus upon.
And what would you say about double pawns on b2 and b5?
They're actually kind of cramping. The pawn on b5 is actually really a kind of a useful pawn as it prevents c7, pardon me, yes, c7, c5 attacking the pawn in the center.
Comfortable development of knight on c6 as well.
Exactly. Bishop to g5, you want to play knight e5 coming up next, and at a certain point after you've played knight d7 to play the move a7, a6. So we'll see. At first, I don't really like what Magnus has done, but then again, you know, looking at the position, you say, if you're White, where do you focus your attention? It's not that easy to come up with a good answer.
Probably center for now.
Right. H6, putting the question to the bishop, would you drop back to h4, or would you...
I actually like f4 more.
Bishop f4, okay.
Because the pawn on c7 is a bit of a target.
Exactly. And there is, after all, the half-open c-file. But, okay, h4, I was going to say queen d3, rook d1, maybe even bring our bishop back to c2, trying to put a battery on the long diagonal. Well, not the long diagonal.
So if Magnus plays knight d7 now, which he has, would you play knight d5 right away? And
I didn't get a chance.
Can't speak fast enough.
Exactly. Yes, I would. And I do it for a very specific purpose. I have this horrible feeling if I don't play knight takes f7 and start making those sacrificial threats right away, well, Black will slowly just start trading, and all my initiative will taper. Knight to d7. Okay, bishop g3 at first sight looks compelling, but then at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, what is my bishop going to be doing on g3?
Not great on g3, but exchanging only helps Black develop more.
Exactly.
Right now, Black's position is a little bit cramped, but if we took on e7, queen e7, rook d8, Black has resolved all the issues.
Exactly. And with the move bishop d3, essentially what that move is saying is your king is still a little bit vulnerable thanks to this pawn on e5. There's no knight f6, so it may look like it's going to take me a while, but queen here, rook here, bishop back to b1, queen goes to c2, and I've got a checkmate on h7. It's a long-term plan, but it is a plan. Black has to come up with an answer.
Maybe knight d5 now?
Good move.
Try to exchange some more pieces to get more space.
Exactly. Knight d5 also has an idea of trying to force a queen trade with knight to b4. I think after knight d5, I'm still going to play queen e2, and you asked me.
Knight b4.
Yeah, drop my bishop back. Yeah. You asked me about my double pawns on b5 and b2. For the moment, once again, I do see them as actually cramping Black's queen side and stopping, you know, c6 and and so on.
Magnus is
Bishop,
reaching for. Well, that was a move I didn't consider, but of course it makes sense. He wants to
to trade off those
trade
bishops.
off the queens and get his queen maybe on the king side.
One thing I might just add is that if you do trade on g3, like takes on g3, h takes g3, any ideas of rovers are just stopped, right? You know, you go queen e7, rook d.
There is some potential for rook a4 in the future, and that kind of.
That kind of a rover. Good
Yeah.
point. That actually does exist. And queen e7, and I do think that Magnus is prepping rook to d8 so that, again, he'll be ready to run, if necessary, knight e4.
So now do you think Fabi should still play on the king side or maybe focus on the open A and C files?
If you had your rook already on a5, rook to a5 and rook to a1, that makes a lot of sense. But the move knight e4 intimates to me that he's still looking to leverage this pawn for an attack, whether it be with knight f6 check, ideas. But again, we've been speaking about bishop to b1 and queen c2,
I feel
prepping
like
that
now
battery.
black will have the safety net with king f8 and maybe not getting checkmated right away.
Yeah. Rook to d1. Rook. Okay, that definitely puts the kibosh on any ideas of rook a5 and doubling rooks against this pawn. So rook d1, prepping bishop b1 and queen c2.
Maybe black should just double on d file now.
Okay, so if
Rook
you go rook d5,
d7 or rook d5.
rook d5,
Rook
I
d4
kind
is also interesting.
rook d4, interesting. Rook d5 somehow has my. Look at this, king f8. I mean, before you even realized you had an attack, he's already making room for his king. So when the queen lands on h7, it won't do any damage.
Yeah, at this
King
point,
f8, that's
queen won't land on a7 anymore.
exactly. If we do play bishop b1, I think the idea here is Magnus wants to trade, play rook d8, and keep hacking things off. Queen c2. Okay, that's putting the queen.
We haven't been guessing their moves lately.
No. This one's a bit of a surprise because it shows. It tells me he wants to play knight c5. Sorry,
At the same time, it walks into knight d5, knight b4 ideas.
Exactly. So knight. Okay, so I'm thinking knight d5, knight c4. I'm trying to justify
Knight b4.
knight b4, queen c3, knight d3, knight d3, and we're going to play bishop versus knight. And I'm
I
going to.
like black's bishop. I mean, white's knight is great on c5 as well.
Agreed.
Black's bishop on d5 will be just as good.
Agreed again.
So black is okay?
Absolutely.
I think it's equal.
I'm going to agree with you until I stop. But yes, queen c2, I didn't expect that. Now we have rook d5, knight c3. So the move knight e4 didn't impress. And Fabi basically said, I didn't get anywhere with that. By the way, we
And
now
both
understand
players
why king is on f8. Sorry.
Yeah, both players are now under a minute and a half now. So
That went fast.
Yeah.
That 5 minutes went by really fast. So here, I'm starting getting a little bit nervous. I mean, black is ready to double the rooks and maybe with queen c5 start taking an initiative. Maybe it's time to play bishop e4 and start hacking pieces off the board. Bishop f1. Okay, that still says I'm ambitious.
maybe now if rook d8, I'll exchange one pair of rooks and put the other rook on a1 and still go for the a7 weakness.
Okay.
But Magnus took on d1.
Because there is this
Yeah.
kind of, okay, you recapture with the rook, there is an idea of queen to c5, attacking the pawn on d4, making,
Pawn on e5, yeah.
and again, queen is lurking, wanting to play queen h7, but I think queen c5 is his idea. He's
Yes.
done it. This one we could guess.
How do we defend the e5 pawn? Do
Exactly.
we go rook e1?
And that was, if you do go rook e1, now we can understand why Magnus captured on e1.
Because we'd be giving up d file now.
Exactly.
Black can put the other rook on d8, and I
But-
slightly start to like black's position more.
Indeed. And this queen e2, burying the bishop.
A bit
not
awkward.
I'm not a big fan. King e7, rook d8. Looks like black has done a great job, actually, in terms of solving his problems. a5.
Well, I like that he takes advantage of the perfect moment that if you
When the bishop's
exactly.
blocked, yes.
Magnus just notices everything.
I remember Tony Miles accused Gary Kasparov as being a monster with 10,000 eyes, that he sees everything. Bishop takes f1, and now rook takes f1. Okay, giving up.
Rook d8.
And again, you can't.
Slightly better now.
Yeah, you can't play queen h7 because the e-pawn is hanging. So once again, if you play rook e1, the rook is coming. Oops, excuse me, apologies. Rook is coming to d. Whoa, 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 whoa! My spidey sense is tingling. What is that?
So rook d2, maybe.
Rook d2.
I don't see any tactics. Rook goes
No.
to d2. Fab is down to 20 seconds. Magnus 33.
And by the way, this queen e1, an indication that things have gone wrong, and suddenly black is the one who has seized the initiative. I love this move, queen to d4.
Absolutely. Now black knight's going to come into play as well.
Just getting out of that fork potential. Knight b5. I'm thinking queen takes b2.
Knight takes c7.
Indeed.
Or rook takes c7.
I'm not sure
Fab
I
is
like
not
this
afraid
move
of the
either.
first rank.
Knight to d5. I mean, okay, I can't take the knight because the rook is hanging. The rook is hanging.
But can I do rook e2 and then take queen b5? There's probably some tactic there.
Yeah, maybe he was afraid of queen a5. I'm not sure, but he decided to put his king back.
Players are down to 10 seconds. Things are heating up.
Okay, and we do have queen takes e5 and rook e1. By the way, breaking news.
Firouzja started Blitz portion of this tournament with a win. He won his game, and here what's happening. So Magnus is up a pawn.
Very, very nice. And the time, it's all about the clock suddenly.
6 seconds each. We had another result already. Anna and Nepo drew their games. And yeah, this should be a draw, but with this time control,
Exactly.
anything can happen. Very easy for Fabi to not find the most accurate moves.
Oh, but he's going to queen ending. And the queen ending is
easier.
Much, much easier. A little surprised that Fabi did not play the move f2, f3. This is a slight, okay, nah, it's very much a draw.
But Magnus is very tricky. He's not going to give up that easy.
No, he loves to grind, and g3, making a little bit of a space.
It's hard to make any progress, though, because if he pushes another pawn, then his king will be very much exposed to all the perpetual checks.
Exactly. Queen on d4, posting up. That's a very nice move.
Fabi's doing an amazing job defending this game.
Clock times once again.
5 seconds for Magnus, 6 for Fabi at the moment. He's still thinking.
Okay.
And let's not forget, they only have 2-second increment. That's not a lot.
You don't build up time with only 2 seconds, but tossing a few checks, play queen d4, defending the pawn on f2, making sure. Well, Magnus is doing his best. He's trying to squeeze his king to the f3
Fabi just
square.
made a move with 2 seconds. Magnus with 1 second.
No way.
He's really taking big risks.
Oh, he sure has.
But I think now we have a perpetual.
Well, you can take on e3.
Take on e3, okay, so the game goes on.
For sure. Queen h. Ooh.
We just said you can't build up time. Magnus went from 1 second to 10 seconds.
He did it. Queen to g4? No. He's running away with his king.
I think theoretically, even if white loses the g3 pawn, it's still a draw. But of course, very difficult to make that draw.
Right. It's something that you wouldn't want to try to defend, that's for sure, with no time on the clock either.
Yeah, they both build up time, but...
Oh, by the way, queen g4 with the threat of f4.
But there's no f4.
Queen h7 mate.
Careful, Magnus.
By the way, Magnus almost missed slapping the clock there.
It's nerves at this point of the game.
King g6. And you kind of reset yourself here.
So I'm curious, if they continue to play this game for more than 50 moves, how do you claim a draw in this type of game?
Well, First of all, that's a very, very good question, and you can make a faulty claim. The claim is not allowed, then your opponent just gets some extra time on the clock. But it's a good way of knowing, you know, what you have to do. By the way, King H3 would have walked into G4, so that was a very...
And also want to mention, all the other games have finished. Gukesh has defeated Richie Rapport, and this is the only game remaining.
Well, boy, did we pick the right one. What a marquee game this has been. Again...
difficult to make progress, though. Do you think Magnus has a chance to trick Fabi here?
Yes, because there's always this idea of sneaking the king to the G4 square, but I think Magnus should have put his queen on, I wanted to say E2, in order to play King H5 to G4.
You know, Table Base showed up and says it's winning for black. I don't know why.
Yeah, it really...
The position looks exactly the same as before. But
wow. Okay, we won't even try to understand. These queen endings are really difficult. But there's a check, and suddenly where do you go with the king? If you go to H2,
wow.
Queen F2, and there goes the pawn.
But if I take on G3, do I have
crazy...
stalemate?
Yes, you do. Not anymore. Queen
not
G4.
really, Queen G4. Wow.
But you had Queen E8 check and Queen H5.
Unbelievable. Magnus manages to
once again
trick Fabi.
Truly
We
amazing.
Still don't know where the trick happened, but
Uh-oh.
now it is. Seems pretty simple.
Yes,
Not
now,
that many checks left.
Yeah, you're
Queen
running
D7,
out of checks.
King G3, and there you go.
Ooh.
Wow.
Well, Magnus said it, that, you know, Fabi and Nepo are going to have the tournaments of their lives to stop him. He wins with black, but